English 9 students and parents. My name is Miss Petrowski and I'll be your English teacher this semester. I'm sending you guys this video because I have two daughters. They are twins and they're 5 years old and they're starting kindergarten this semester. So they have an open house on Wednesday night as well. So I will be missing a little bit of our virtual open house so that I can take them to their open house. So if I miss you, this video will hopefully cover any of the information that I would have given you if I had been at the virtual open house. If you have questions at all after this video or after we talk, please let me know so that I can get you any of the information that you need. So the first thing that we should go over is course info. So during this semester, students will have 4 units that they'll go through. The first one is an introduction to writing. This unit goes over the basic skills that your student will need in order to write an academic paper in high school. The format and the rules that they're going to learn about this type of writing it's the format and the basics of how they're going to write throughout high school and for parts of college as well. So it basically just gives students the foundational skills that they need in order to write an academic essay. Our second unit is a short story unit. So during this unit, we're going to be focusing on lit analysis, and we're going to be looking at how authors create themes. So we'll practice with some short stories. We'll read a variety of short stories from all different parts of the world, so that they can practice how to identify a theme and look at how authors create those themes. We will carry those skills over then into our third unit, which is a novel unit. In this unit, students will pick their own novel that they get to read, and then they will apply some of those skills that they learned during the short story unit to their novel unit and look at theme again and how an author creates that. And then they will have a final project that goes along with that. Our last unit is the research unit, which students will start working on their skills of how to put information together, how to access information, how to make sure the information that they're getting is credible, and how to convey all that information to an audience in a clear and coherent way. The research unit does include a presentation for some students that can freak them out a little bit. Tell your student not to worry about it yet because we still don't know what format their presentation is going to be in. It all depends on what kind of school we're doing. If we're doing hybrid, it's going to look a lot different than if we're doing 100% online, which is going to look a lot different than if we're doing 100% face-to-face. So we'll get more information on that as we get closer. That's not until January, so we have a while before we have to make some of those decisions. In this class, grading policies are the same as they are across the board for English 9 and English 10. So the district grading scale, failing is considered 64 or below. Our weighted grades are weighted 90% assessments, so those are our major projects, our test papers, projects, speeches, all of those big end of the unit things. Practice work is worth 10%, so that's homework, anything that we do in class, quizzes, short assignments. The reason that we break it up like that is because we don't feel that it's fair to penalize students when they're practicing and when they're just gaining the skills. So we put more emphasis on the grade after they've had some time to work with the new skill and practice it and make sure that they're really good at it before we put a huge part of their grade on it. If students get to the end and they are still thinking that they're not quite where they want to be, they could still learn a little bit more, we do allow resubmissions. Students are allowed to resubmit as long as they have turned in the original on time. They can resubmit summatives only, not homework. So they need to resubmit, or they need to submit their original on time. They have to show that they looked through their original, looked at the feedback, and looked at, sorry, my light turned off, that they looked at the feedback, that they looked at their rubric, and that they figured out where they need to strengthen their skills a little bit so that they can have a better project. After they've gone through and they've done some more practice, they've done some more work, they've learned that skill a little, and they feel a little bit stronger in it, then they can go through and they can make a copy of their original, start revising. In order to turn in a resubmission, you also need to make sure that your student has all their practice work done. Students are not allowed to resubmit unless they have all of their homework and all the practice work leading up to it completed. Then when they're finished revising, they can turn in their original rubric and their new copy. They should also, on their new copy, highlight any changes they made and explain why they made the changes, so that we know that their changes are really purposeful and that we can see that their changes are to help create a better paper. Resubmissions will get a new rubric filled out, but they will not get new comments, most likely because if they still have issues, it's probably still the same issues that they had in the first place. I accept late work in this class. Practice work has to be in by the end of the unit. Any late work turned in after the end of the unit will not be graded. Basically, we just want to make sure that you're not still working on the unit from September when we are in November and then things start to snowball. Assessments will be accepted throughout the semester. So if you turn in a paper late, I will still accept it, I will still grade it, I will still do a rubric for it. You forfeit any written feedback though. So you'll still get a rubric that's all filled out, but your student won't get any comments written on it because they turned it in late, and that is one of the consequences. They will also forfeit the opportunity to do any resubmissions if they turn in their final project late. So it's important for students to keep that in mind so that they don't just start letting things slide and then things tend to snowball after that. If you have any questions about the grading policies, please let me know so that we can get your questions answered. This policy is across the board for 9th and 10th grade, so students all have the same opportunities and the same consequences for not turning things in on time. In this room, students will need to make sure that they have with them a notebook, folder, pens, pencils, an independent reading book, and a charged Chromebook. It's really important that their Chromebooks are charged this year when they come to school. I can't guarantee that they'll be able to get close enough to an outlet, and with social distancing rules, I can't guarantee that we'll be able to move things around enough that they'll be able to get to an outlet to charge. So please remind your students that they should be charging their Chromebooks at home. An optional thing, but highly suggested thing that your students should have are headphones or earbuds. Lots of things are going to be on Schoology this year and are going to be online, so it's probably going to be an important year to have headphones or earbuds. The last thing that I wanted to remind you guys about is my contact information. I think you should have this, but just in case you don't, my email is emily.petrowski@isd728.org. The best way to get in touch with me is through email. I can usually answer during the day within an hour or two because I can answer during passing time or while students are having work time. My school phone number is another way to get in contact with me. I'm not always able to answer the phone because if I have students in here and if a conversation is really sensitive and we need privacy, it can't always happen. But if you would rather talk with me, my phone number is listed here. Please never feel bad about reaching out, especially this is a confusing way to do school and everyone is a little up in the air about what's going to happen. So please make sure if you have questions, if your student has questions, that you guys are reaching out to me. I want to help your student be successful no matter if we are hybrid, if we're online, if we're all face-to-face. I want your student to feel comfortable and I want them to feel like they are capable and can be successful in this class. So please let me know what I can do to help, and I really look forward to meeting your students this year.